That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In case you haven't heard, your ears do not deceive you. Valve is releasing a fully fledged franchise AAA canon credible Half-Life story. And this is going to be the first VR title where you can actually go from start to beginning on an adventure, not just standing around moving objects, hitting lights with a saber, none of that. This is going to be a real VR game, Half-Life Alyx. Now, the point of this video, and it's something that I never imagined I'd ever talk about on this channel. Just a few days ago, if you told me Valve was going to release a Half-Life title and that they have plans for future Half-Life games, I would have laughed in your face. Today, I'm ecstatic, and I want to explain to anyone who's unfamiliar with the Half-Life series, who is Alyx Vance? How does she fit into the story? When do we meet her in the story? I want to fill everybody in who may be unfamiliar, and then we're going to move from there, and we're going to talk about an interview that another YouTuber did, Geoff Keighley, on the Game Awards channel with some members of the Valve team and the information that we can get from them. Alyx Vance, where does she fit in the Half-Life story? Not in Half-Life 1. In Half-Life 1, she's a baby. She's living with her mother and father, who are both scientists at the Black Mesa facility, where the original events take place. The scientists are conducting experiments. They make a mistake. They open up a portal. This technologically superior alien race called the Combine sets its sights on Earth. They come in to begin a brutal police state. Now, I'm not going to explain the whole story. I'm just going to get to the point of where we meet Alyx in Half-Life 2. I'm going to read a short synopsis for you guys and show you the video as I'm doing so. Straight from the get-go, we take control of the protagonist, Gordon Freeman. As he makes his way through City 17's train station, Gordon is flagged at a security checkpoint by one of the Combine officers who had been observing him through a security camera. The player, completely defenseless, becomes trapped and has no other recourse but to comply with the voyeur officer's commands to follow him into an interrogation cell. Entering the cell, blood can be seen upon the floor, clearly from other unfortunate citizens who had similarly been flagged for interrogation. Now, this setting brings a sense of dread to the player and creates a tension that had previously been absent. However, once the officer patrolling the station's cameras convinces his coworker he does not need his help, he reveals himself to be an ally by the name of Barney Calhoun, an ex-security guard at Black Mesa who was also very friendly with Gordon Freeman in the events of Half-Life 1. Keep in mind that the events of Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 are nearly 20 years apart. So Half-Life 2 takes place 20 years after Half-Life 1. He jokes about owing him a beer, which is a reference to the events that unfolded within the previous game, and we learn that he is a double agent secretly working for the Resistance, a group of human citizens who want to take back Earth. Barney video conferences Dr. Isaac Kleiner, another Resistance member, on a secure line. Dr. Kleiner is also a former mentor to Gordon from his days at the prestigious school of MIT and a former colleague of Gordon's at Black Mesa. Kleiner is clearly shocked to see Gordon. He's been absent for nearly 20 years, just vanished into space and time. The trio quickly realize they have no time for catch-up and decide that Gordon needs to make his way secretly, bypassing all security checkpoints, to Eli Vance's secret laboratory. Now, obviously, that name sounds familiar. Alyx Vance, Eli Vance. Eli is Alyx's father. Again, I said she was a baby in the events of Half-Life 1. She grew up at Black Mesa. It was like a small city, a secret underground facility, and like a small community where the scientists not only worked, but lived with their families. Unfortunately, Alyx's mother did not make it out of Black Mesa. She was killed by the SWAT team when they came in to basically, once things went wrong, they wanted to contain the experiment, not let the public know, and they just came in and tried to kill everybody. Barney lets the player escape out the back entrance, feigning his escape, and even catches up to him outside to give the player their first weapon of the game, the now iconic red crowbar. Along the way, Gordon finds himself amongst the middle of a civil protection raid on a state-operated housing unit, jumping, climbing, and narrowly missing bullets whizzing by his head in an attempt to escape the Combine's clutches, and with Gordon being cornered and knocked unconscious yet again. This dude's always blacking out. Get used to it. Enter the vivaciously sassy yet dependably loyal Alyx Vance. Alyx rescues the player from Combine soldiers and leads us through an underground route toward the underground laboratory of Dr. Klein. After introducing herself to the player, she explains that she is the daughter of Eli Vance, another former scientist and former colleague of Gordon's back at Black Mesa. A poster of Black Mesa's old administrator turned traitor of the human race, Dr. William Breen, can be seen on a wall along their path. Alyx expresses her disdain for the man, having grown up living in the dorms at Black Mesa with her mother and father, and knowing how Dr. Breen sold the world out. When these interdimensional, basically Romans, came to take over Earth, it was only a war that lasted 7 hours. Why? Because the administrator at Black Mesa, Dr. William Breen, negotiated a surrender. And they now are using Breen as a puppet master, a puppet ruler that they control. He is basically like a dictator, but he enforces the Combine, or the superior alien race's rule. And people resent him for it, hardcore. She also mentions that it is strange that we appeared out of nowhere on this particular day, a red letter day. And what she means by that is Dr. Klein, and I know I messed up there, they're heading to Dr. Klein's secret laboratory, but the ultimate goal is to get to Alyx's father, Eli Vance. So if you want to know who Alyx is, she is the daughter of one of the main characters, the scientist Eli Vance. She grew up at Black Mesa. It's 20 years later in the events of Half-Life 2. Gordon Freeman just appears literally out of thin air, point insertion. The G-Man, the enigmatic G-Man, puts him back into the world, and everybody's depending on him to set things right and get rid of the Combine and get Earth back to the way it was. Alyx is his companion. She's with him through the events of Half-Life 2. Episode 1. Now, in between episode 1 and episode 2, they were separated. So it makes total sense that if Valve wanted to finish this story and make it a complete story, they would have to say what happened between episode 1 and episode 2. That's Half-Life Alyx. We will be playing as Eli Vance's daughter, Alyx. Now, she's not a scientist, but she is herself very technologically savvy. She's very articulate. She's smart. She can fight. She is one of the best NPC companions that I've ever seen in video games, to be quite honest with you. I'm looking forward to playing as her. And as we're going to see in the second part of this video, Valve intends to make even more Half-Life that will be playable with controller, and I'm thinking, I never thought I would say this. But I'm thinking that after Half-Life Alyx releases, they are going to be working on Half-Life 3. Well, guys, for the second half of the video, I was going to include clips from Geoff Keighley's channel, the Game Awards, or the Gamer Awards, but it dawns on me that I don't have his permission, and he could actually flag my video for using clips from his channel without his permission. I'll put the link in the description below. He has the only video, because he's been hanging out with Valve over the last year while they develop this game, and he actually gets to sit down and interview a few of the developers. He has the most information, not only about Half-Life Alyx, but what Valve's been up to and what their future plans are, which, from my understanding from the interview I watched, it includes more Half-Life games. They're going to finish the story, believe it or not. I encourage you guys to click on that link, go to his channel, check out that video. Tons of valuable information there. If you liked what you saw, leave me a like. click on the subscribe button. Any comments, suggestions, questions, put them down below, and I'll get back to you. I am the American Spy Fox, and I hope that answers any questions about Alyx Vance, who she is, and how she fits into this story for anyone who is unfamiliar with the Half-Life series. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.